Welcome, everybody. This is Denny with Wise is True, and joining me today is Karl Mollison with teamarchangel.com. And Karl and I are going to continue with our channeling series. And today we're going to do John Mack, who is an American psychiatrist. He's a parapsychologist, a writer, and a professor at Harvard Medical School. So I want to welcome you, Karl, invite you to talk a little bit about what we do in these channeling sessions for people who may have never seen our videos before, and then I'll come back and I'm going to read a little bio of John Mack, and then we'll get started with the channeling session. So thanks, Karl.
Oh, you're very welcome, Danny. I'm happy to be here and supporting your effort to bring truth forward. We're all affected by everything going on, and some of us are more aware than others, and some of us are actively trying to help. Others are passively just riding the waves along. And so we hope to reach out and inspire others to partner with Creator. That's my big message and my goal. All I want is for people to go back to God and embrace the notion of the deity and say, come and be with us, come and help me personally, my loved ones, and help humanity. If everyone did that, it would make a huge, huge difference. More and more people are siding up with darkness in various ways by being co-opted, being misdirected, off doing self-improvement and self-enlightenment efforts, all of which is nice, but it doesn't bring the Almighty into the picture. And we need a divine help, a divine helper at this point in time, because there are big things working against humanity. So as a channeler, I bumped into this again and again, working with people to do some comprehensive healing work. And one of the things I started doing along the way was to look for alien implants, because I knew some people are abducted. So I set about looking to see if I could find this. And to my shock, I found it in about 4 to 5% of people. That's a pretty big number of people. You know, you're talking 12 to 15 million Americans alone. And it's a worldwide phenomenon. And so I went from there to doing more exploration as a channeler with the light, talking to archangels and talking to Creator. And boy, did I get an earful. This is the number one problem facing humanity, and it's brought about by dark spirit undermining of us and other civilizations, the extraterrestrials who are here, none of whom can be trusted. And this is a very sad thing. It really, really is. There's huge disinformation campaigns going on. And this is coming from multiple directions. All of it's orchestrated by the opposition. So good people, good spiritual folk are being misled and given false channeled information by imposters. They're out there listening. They'll elbow their way in to the head of the conversation. And the divine realm has to let that happen if we shake hands with them and start talking to them. They have to let it take place because it's considered a human choice. We're the ones with authority here. That's the way it's set up. That's a test for us. Will we be responsible? Will we do the things in our best interest? Will we continue to partner with the divine realm in all we do and carry things forward in an upward path? Or will we move away from the divine? That will lower us. And if we partner with other sources of consciousness that don't have our best interests in mind, and in fact might want to dominate, subjugate, or even annihilate us, that too is a choice. And it will be allowed. Okay. And humanity can go under. It's just that simple. So we have to pick who we want to be in alignment with. So I'm saying let's align with Creator, the ultimate source of the entire universe. I don't see that as a danger to anyone. It's not going to take away anything from anyone. It's a simple message. It's heartfelt, it's genuine, it's sincere. And I talk to the divine realm all the time about this. This is an option that we have, and it's really the most graphic demonstration you can think of as to our importance and the role we play in our own lives, that we have total charge of things. It's got a downside because we're not doing so well in running the place. But that's because we've been undermined and we've got forces working against us, these dark spirits. So I do a lot of work removing dark spirits from people. And it's shocking. It's 90% of people that have these. Everyone has negative karma. They're working to scrub up and grow beyond, so the influence is eventually healed away, and they can move on with their lives and get out from under that legacy. But karma is a huge force, meaning everything that's come before, all the unhealed things, the unsolved problems, the things we set in motion, either as a victim or a perpetrator. They continue to roll forward as energy, and they influence everything in the future. So I do a lot of karmic repair as well when I do my healing protocol work with people, because it's a huge deal. It really, really is. It can change your life to have this done and change your future.
Right.
And I've been getting feedback about that. It's really quite exciting. And people have no clue. This is how the world works. And there's a reason they don't have a clue, because they've been kept in the dark. This was edited out of the Bible, the real importance of karma, except a few fairly indirect references to it. So it's time for people to wake up and relearn some of the things that have been obscured for far too long.
Right.
Because knowledge is power. We have the say in things, and we have the power here if we use it. We don't have the power to stand up to negative extraterrestrials far in advance of us technologically. We don't have the wherewithal. We don't have the knowledge, experience, or the spiritual oomph even to deal with it. But we have the ability to reach out to Creator and have the divine realm join. That will make the difference, and that's the one hope that we have. It's a choice, and the opposition cannot choose that. They do not believe in it. They've drifted away from that spiritual protection. That's why they are so dark. So those who still have that spiritual basis, whether they're religious and maybe they're still going to church or a synagogue, or maybe they've drifted away, it's something they kind of gave up over time. It's not too late to go back and talk to Creator and say, well, I'm here now. Come be with us. Come help us.
Right. Okay.
These are fixable problems. So some of the information is pretty dark. But don't we need to know? Don't we need to know if there's a new virus, a new source of infection? You know, this is what we do. We solve problems.
Right.
This is just another problem in a series that
Right.
humanity's had to face.
And one of the biggest problems has been hidden. So now we're uncovering it so it can be solved, because you can't heal something that's unknown. So it's no more complicated than that.
That's right. It's sort of like, you know, where humanity was before the germ theory of disease was first understood. People just got symptoms and they got sick and they would die, and no one really knew why.
Right.
And they didn't have an answer because they didn't understand it. They didn't know what it was.
Right.
So human behavior has been corrupted forever, all through recorded history. And we just think it's us, that
Right.
we're lowly creatures and we're, savage still. And
some of us are evil.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna have. Let's see. We have 7 questions. A couple of them are like 2 or 3 parts questions for John Mack, and I'm gonna go ahead and this is a bio that I kind of slapped together from Wikipedia mostly. There's fortunately quite a bit of information about this fellow. He's written some books and whatnot, and people have looked into his life and done some good writing, and I'm sure there's some YouTube videos with him. In fact, Karl and I were able to see part of a Charlie Rose interview that a mutual friend put together. I guess fixed up the sound and put it on YouTube, and I posted on Facebook not too long ago. But that was between John Mack and Charlie Rose. Not very long. It was a very, very interesting interview. Okay, so John Mack was an American psychiatrist. He was a parapsychologist. He was a writer and professor at Harvard Medical School. He was a Pulitzer Prize-winning biographer, a leading researcher and writer on alien abduction experiences, and a campaigner for the elimination of nuclear weapons. The dominant theme of his life's work has been the exploration of how one's perceptions of the world affect one's relationships. He addressed this issue of worldview on the individual level in his early clinical explorations of dreams, nightmares, and teen suicide. He wrote A Prince of Our Disorder, The Life of T.E. Lawrence in 1976, his biographical study of the life of the British officer T.E. Lawrence, for which he received a Pulitzer Prize for Biography in 1977. His later research broadened into the general considerations of the merits of an expanded notion of reality, one which allows for experiences that may not fit the Western materialist paradigm, yet deeply affect people's lives. His second and final book on the alien encounter experience was Passport to the Cosmos, Human Transformation and Alien Encounters in 1999, as much as a philosophical treatise connecting the themes of spirituality and modern worldviews as it was the culmination of his work with the experiencers of alien encounters to whom the book is dedicated. On Monday, September 27th in 2004, while in London to lecture at a T.E. Lawrence Society-sponsored conference, Mack was killed by a drunken driver heading west on Totteridge Lane. He was walking home alone after a dinner with friends when he was struck at 11:25 p.m. near the junction of Totteridge Lane and Longland Drive. He lost consciousness at the scene of the accident and was pronounced dead shortly thereafter. The driver was arrested at the scene and later entered a plea of guilty by careless driving whilst under the influence of alcohol. Mack's family requested leniency for the suspect in a letter to the Wood Green Crown Court. Although this was a tragic event for our family, the letter reads, we feel the accused's behavior was neither malicious nor intentional, and we have no ill will towards him since we learned of the circumstances of the collision. So with that, Karl, I'd ask you to go ahead and start the channeling session.
Okay, it'll just take me a moment to get into the right state of consciousness and to set up safety around the work. I'm big on safety. People need to know anytime you do any intuitive outreach, including meditation, ask for safety from the divine realm, because you are vulnerable to being approached by all sorts of outside beings, most of whom are not friendly. The beings in the light are not supposed to interfere with us. They can come and express love, and people will sense their loved ones around them who are departed. But they can't do much more than that because we're off limits, and that's true of any other advanced beings who are friendly and benign. They're not allowed to interfere with the divine human experiment at this point in time. This is a test of us to see how we do when we're on our own. So this is kind of a special bridging of that gap with divine sanction. And there still will be constraints on what they're allowed to say. And that's why we reach out to people who also have some past experience with this issue, because they have a karmic kind of an investment, if you will, in the subject. And so they're allowed to talk about those aspects. And so we'll just go asking. We'll go as seekers and see what we can get. Okay?
Okay.
This is John Mack speaking.
Hello, John. Thank you for joining us. Was a tragic event that ended your life intentional? Was this, in fact, a murder to silence you?
This puts us and a number of others in an awkward position. What we can tell you is that our death was sanctioned and was directed from behind the scenes by the dark forces in opposition to humanity, as you were discussing prior to this session. We do not want to give details because we do not want to see more negative karmic consequences stemming from our words. But we can tell you that if this experience had not caused our death, there would have been something further arranged. So that is all we are willing to tell you, but the message we can state is unequivocal that we had a target painted on us by the cabal working together against humanity, and they would have taken us out one way or another to serve their purposes and to snuff out our efforts to seek further truth about what we encountered dealing with individuals directly influenced for the negative by the extraterrestrials.
Okay, thank you. Could the use of a daily protection prayer prevent event like this?
This is an important and insightful question you are asking, and we would consider it the highest and most valuable of the entire interview you were planning and are in process with. This is important for many, many reasons. The answer is yes. If we had the insight and awareness to reach out to the loving Creator and ask for our safety, this would have not happened. Death for any reason would have not happened. Not only deliberately intended, but accidental. Because we were not doing such an outreach, we were vulnerable. This is not only true for me in facing hidden backlash we saw the outlines of, but never perceived it as a global force working against us. If we had been doing simple prayer work for our safety with requests, that would have changed the entire future for us personally. And we can tell you, as a light being currently, that many present in Earth plane are working for the light. It is quite a high percentage who come down with that intention. Many fall by the wayside through misdirection and corruption to diminish them, which is often successful for their entire lifetime. Those few who can rise above that suppression are highly prized, and the light is eager to see them succeed. We are all rooting for you. It is only that we cannot tip the balance and make it an unfair fight by interfering personally that we do not rush to give you even more assistance. This may sound strange and paradoxical. It is simple to say, why doesn't God fix everything? There are many deep and complex reasons why. And first among them is, this is not the paradigm that was created. The paradigm created was for the divine human to have a world of their own and be rulers of their kingdom. You are the ruler of your kingdom, each and every one of you, as guardian of your soul and your physical life. You are responsible for your safety. And if you ask the divine realm to help, you will be given help. But you must ask. So the large meaning behind your question in our answer is, let this be an object lesson for each and every person listening to this interview. You are all at risk every day that something may befall you, whether purposeful or not. There may be karmic threats you are unaware of from past lifetimes that caused you to die young. If you seek the help of the divine, those things can be changed through healing. And the circumstances you face from day to day can be rearranged by the divine hand in answer to a prayer. But you must make that prayer. Do not assume God will come and rescue you and prevent tragedy. People die each and every day, the innocent as well as the guilty of many wrongdoings and slights and problems they have created. And this includes the innocent young who have not yet caused any major problems, but do come in with baggage from a past lifetime series of difficulties, some of which is wanting to move forward in time and change their destiny to match what occurred before. So they too are at risk. They are at risk of being killed by enemies just as much as anyone who has been an adult and affected the world adversely for one or more individuals. So this is a lesson all can learn from and is worth doing. This is the number one thing humanity needs to know. They need to have Creator alongside them and moving forward in partnership to help with all their interests to thrive and grow and prosper and bring divine joy to each and every life.
Okay, thank you. Now that you have the perspective of a light being, would you encourage the testimonies with those coming forward about the mercenary army program, also known as a secret space program?